I'm just going to give you a trigger warning. It's the first day of Black History Month, and you know Ben Shapiro knows that. He's going to get probably extra racist with it, more racist than he usually is, which is impressive because he's always so fucking racist. Personal files reveal past disciplinary action was taken against the Memphis officers. How shocking.
Yesterday, alongside civil rights leader the Reverend Al Sharpton, they called for police reform. Nichols died last month, just days after he was brutally beaten by several police officers. And many of those officers now charged with murder have faced discipline, we're told, for previous actions on the job.
Memphis police files obtained by CBS News show that two of the officers, Demetrius Haley and Desmond Mills Jr., both received written reprimands for separate incidents involving use of force. In 2021, Haley grabbed a female suspect.
How would they know who to put on the extra violent Scorpion unit if it wasn't for their track record? You know what I mean? This is literally, they were on our radar again, but it's cops this time. First of all, that radar is all sorts of busted. Okay, it is the most busted radar of all time. Cops internally are actively avoiding this kind of thing. Wait. You can be a cop with a record in the U.S.? Yes. What do you mean? Internally, your record is either completely squashed or... Guys, if we truly had a domestic violence provision for gun control, if that was a real thing, we would disarm the police single-handedly. Okay. If we actually had a law enforcement community that like legitimately cared about domestic violence and tried to prevent it instead of contributing to it regularly, and then on top of that, we actually disarmed domestic abusers like our government claims they want to do, we would just not have any cops have guns. Okay.
Suspect by the arm after she allegedly resisted an arrest. He failed to file the required paperwork afterwards.
780 on that? That's
Mills
crazy.
Jr. received a similar admonishment after he took a woman to the ground as he arrested her back in 2019. He also never filed paperwork. Another one of the officers, Emmett Martin III, was suspended for 3 days after a gun was found in the backseat of his patrol car after his shift ended. And Justin Smith was suspended for 2 days for hitting another vehicle while in an unmarked cruiser.
Anytime you see a cop with a record, ask yourself, what have they done that isn't on their record? Okay, that's another thing. Because the difference between those being on the record and not is literally how well they filed the paperwork. Understand that. They didn't fuck up because they were like extra brutal in that regard and he like hit someone with his cruiser or whatever. It's just that he couldn't justify it in the paperwork, and that's why he had to get 3 days off.
Now, CBS News has learned that a 22-year-old man is planning to file suit against the city of Memphis and the police department. Montarius Harris says those same 5 former officers beat him up 3 days before the Tyre Nichols incident, including
Man, that's so crazy. It almost feels like this entire system is designed to do brutal enforcement and overlook all of the atrocious, horrifying things that cops do as a part of their everyday existence, and that it often goes unnoticed until it's not unnoticed when they fuck up and go a little too hard and actually end up killing someone. But even then, they actually don't think that they did anything wrong, as you saw on the fucking body camera footage, because the system itself requires cops to behave this way, trains them to behave this way, and shows them at every step of the way that there will be no real accountability for this kind of behavior. And that's why I always say that the brutal shit that you see, police brutality, as you understand it, as you see, as it gets portrayed in the media, is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? As the tip of the iceberg, man, is not a bunch of bad apples. The entire bunch is rotten. It's spoiled. It's the apple basket that's fucking fundamentally full of worms, okay? You only get to see some of the murders, even though there is more than 3 a day. You get to see some of the murders every couple of weeks when they're particularly gruesome, even though there are 3 a day. Do you understand? American police kill 3 civilians a day. That is unacceptable. It is literally higher than any other comparable Western nation, comparable developed nation, okay? Significantly higher. The closest is Canada with 9 murdered per 10 million, okay? At least 3 a day in America. How many aren't killed? Dude, that is insane. Can you imagine like looking at the Holocaust and being like, okay, 6 million Jews died, but how many didn't get murdered? Do you think that argument stays? That's why I compared it to murders happening, police murders happening in other countries. That is not a way that you compare police brutality. What the fuck? You really thought you had a good take, man. You really thought you were coming in here hot with that. You were like, I'm going to show him now. And to be fair, that is interesting. Like, that is uniquely stupid. You know what I mean? That is a uniquely stupid take. So congratulations.
I know that you've been very outspoken in what you believe should happen to these officers who are charged with murder. What do you think should happen?
Most definitely. I mean, I hope they meet the same fate as my brother. I don't know what the laws is in Tennessee or whatnot, but for me, I believe they deserve the death penalty.
God damn. That's on CNN, bro. That's a what? Woo, shit. Now, obviously, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, but goddamn, that's like crazy that he just said that on CNN. I've never heard a national news broadcast openly say that, like, cops deserve the death penalty. Oh, yeah, this is another thing. If you want to understand cops, I mean, how could this happen? How could this happen? This is so unique. Double amputee with a knife shot and killed by police. Family claims excessive force used. Huntington Park, California. On Thursday afternoon, Huntington Park Police Department officers responded to a report of a stabbing. The department said in a statement Monday, responding officers found a victim suffering from a life-threatening stab wound resulting in the collapsed lung and internal bleeding. The victim described the attacker as a black man in a wheelchair who dismounted the wheelchair, ran to the victim without provocation, and stabbed him in the side of the chest with a 12-inch butcher knife, and then he fled the scene in his wheelchair. The victim was taken to a local hospital and remains in critical condition. During their search, police found the alleged suspect a few blocks away holding a 12-inch butcher knife. The suspect allegedly ignored officers' commands and threatened to advance or throw the knife, and officers used 2 separate tasers to try and subdue the suspect but failed. The suspect continued to threaten officers with their butcher knife, resulting in an officer-involved shooting, the HPPD said. It was not immediately clear how many officers were present or shot the suspect. The suspect was struck by gunfire. The suspect was struck by gunfire in the upper torso and pronounced dead is, again, something that we talk about all the time, which is called neutral language. They use it all the time in mainstream media, specifically when talking about incidents surrounding police brutality, police murder. Okay? No, man. Stop using passive voice. He wasn't struck by gunfire in the upper torso and pronounced dead. He was executed by police officers. The involved officers were placed on paid administrative leave pending ongoing investigations from the HPPD, the Sheriff's Department's Homicide Bureau, and the Los Angeles County District's Attorney said. The Sheriff's Department has confirmed it's investigating, but declined to comment. Bystander videos appear to show the confrontation because, of course, they did not have fucking body cameras on. Ooh, surprising. Bystander videos of the incident posted on social media appear to show the confrontation between the police and Lowe on Thursday just before the shooting. A family member of Lowe confirmed to CNN that the man in the video is Lowe. In one video, 2 uniformed officers are seen pointing their guns at Lowe. Lowe then appears to move himself in the opposite direction, holding something shiny in his hands when an officer walks behind him. A police car then obscures the view. Another video from a different view shows the moment when officers appear to open fire. Family members did not address the suggestion that Lowe may have stabbed someone prior to the shooting. It doesn't matter, okay? He could be an unhinged, violent psychopath. That doesn't give carte blanche to the cops to also behave as an unhinged, violent band of thugs. That is fucking crazy. Stop saying, of course it matters. It does not matter. Are you crazy? We're talking about a dude in a fucking wheelchair, dog. Are you fucking insane? Actually, are you insane? I need you to understand something. A violent police force that thinks the only way to apprehend a suspect in a fucking wheelchair who's running away from you on his stumps is by shooting him in the back and mag dumping into him is always going to be violent in other altercations as well. Stop working to normalize this kind of brutality. In the past 48 hours, the USA horrifically lost 34 people to mass shootings. On average, across 48 hours, we also lose 500 medical errors, 300 to the flu. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson, dude. He's so fucking stupid. Like, what an absolute fucking insane thing to say. I love this kind of take, dude. 40 homicides via handgun. Often our emotions respond more to the spectacle than data. Dude, what are you talking about? First of all, absolutely 0 people think like it's okay that 250 people are killing themselves by suicide. That's number one. This, ironically, the 250 number and the 40 number also correspond to this because a lot of those people that successfully end up themselves literally use a gun in the process, and easy access to guns makes it infinitely easier to yourself. 40 homicide via handgun, again, same issue. This isn't even stem brain at that point, man. He's just, he is the physical embodiment of r/I am very smart, even though he does have a good take on cops, surprisingly. One bad apple cannot work as a metaphor if all other apples in the bushel are complicit. It's actually a good take. Holy shit, finally. He always has to be like the nerdiest guy.
Tyre Nichols' case continues apace. The Wall Street Journal reports that 3 Memphis, Tennessee emergency medical technicians were fired on Monday. 2 additional police officers have been relieved from duty as officials continue investigations into the death of Tyre Nichols. The 3 EMTs were let go after an internal investigation into their actions at the scene of Nichols' January 7th encounter with police following a traffic stop. According to the Memphis Fire Department, the review showed they failed to conduct an adequate patient assessment of Mr. Nichols. Memphis Police Department said that Officer Preston Hemphill and a second unnamed officer were relieved from duty. The 2 officers' actions and inaction continue to be the subject of an internal investigation. Police said that Hemphill and the unnamed officer were relieved from duty at the beginning of the investigation. The people who have now been...
I'm just going to give you a trigger warning. It's the first day of Black History Month, and you know Ben Shapiro knows that, okay? He's going to get probably extra racist with it, more racist than he usually is, which is impressive because he's always so fucking racist. So you know my man is going to go extra hard today, okay? As he often does. Like MLK Day, he's like, it's time to pop off. MLK was bad. He was wrong. The civil rights movement is actually is morally bankrupt, you know? Like he specializes. He like builds up all of his resentment towards black people from every other fucking day and channels it in extra hard on days and months like this.
Who have now been fired from the force are 2 of them are black. 1 of them is white because race is the only concern for our media, apparently.
Okay. Blip, blip, blip.
Officer Hemphill, who participated in the initial traffic stop and the use of a taser, will remain on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. The use of the taser, by the way, is not obviously the problem with regard to the Tyre Nichols situation. We watched the tape yesterday on the show, and we talked about the fact that Tyre Nichols fled on foot as he was leaving. They attempted to take...
If you don't fucking bring up the fact that even the fucking police chief said that this was not a warranted traffic stop, you are literally the worst person on the planet. I'm fucking, oh my God, he's already doing it. He's fucking doing it. Dog, how do you mention that he fled on foot after you said, no, he has to mention it.
So again, this is more reaction, legal reaction to what appears to be an egregious...
He didn't magically start running on foot, dude. He got yoinked out of his fucking car for no reason. They literally did not tell him what was going on while beating the shit out of him. Oh my God. That's insane. You did not want... Oh my God. There's no way. Did they show the entire footage?
The Memphis Fire Department said on Monday its investigation showed that the 3 fired EMTs found Nichols handcuffed on the ground and leaning against a police vehicle. Apparently, the department said that they violated numerous MFD protocols and policies. Unclear exactly what they were supposed to do at that point or what medical action would have been necessary in order to save Nichols or whether that would have actually materialized in any sort of change for Nichols. He did.
What? Bro, he's literally, oh my God. Does he think Tyre Nichols is Palestinian? Is that what he thinks is going on here? Because he literally is talking about it like the IDF. You know what I mean? Like when he talks about the IDF and like Palestinians, when he says like Palestinians live in shit, Israelis like to build. That energy is coming out of him right now. He said, what warrants medical action by medical professionals? How could they have saved this man?
Did die at the hospital of internal injuries, is my understanding. In any case, the media continue on their dual narratives of 1, the police are bad, and 2, this is all about race. So Sarah Haynes, the View is just a repository of all the lowest IQ humans on the planet, apparently. So Sarah Haynes said that we can talk about racism because the race of the officers does not matter. All the officers in this particular case, of course, were black. It is only the race of the victim that matters.
Oh, God. I wonder if it gets hard sometimes to be a conservative where you like routinely have to avoid looking at all of the fucking facts of a situation where like everyone is basically saying the same thing in unison, which is that like, and they're correctly saying this, by the way, which is that the police as an institution is acting out in a white supremacist way. Therefore, it doesn't fucking matter if a cop is black or not because black cops are brutal. Historically and in contemporary society, they have always been brutal. Okay, they're just as brutal, if not sometimes more brutal, according to James Baldwin, than white cops. That doesn't mean that they're more brutal in general, but it doesn't matter. They're cops, okay? They're cops. This is never about the individual. This is not about the individual. This is about a systemic problem. This is about what the police are designed to do.
Here is Sarah Haynes saying something very silly.
Part of police reform over the years were all these cameras, dash cameras, body cameras. And there is such a casualness to this aggression. And I did watch it because I think, you know, people say it was too hard to watch or I couldn't watch it. And I thought that's the least we can do to watch what is going, because I think people have to see it sometimes to maybe be, one, I think there's a lot of people that do realize this is never acceptable, not okay. I think the fact that it was black officers shows it doesn't matter the color of the cop, it's the victim.
It's the victim. And meanwhile, Whoopi Goldberg, genius, sort of sage presence on The View. She's like, I'm not saying that maybe white people need to get beaten up for police reform to happen, but maybe white people need to get beaten up for police reform to happen. Okay, so first of all, this is unbelievably stupid. We have seen many, many cases of police brutality against white people. In fact, some of those cases are significantly worse than what we saw with Tyre Nichols. You know, that one case that I mentioned the other day of a white man killed by the police in a hotel is the Daniel Shaver killing of 2006.
Interesting. This is one of the few instances where Ben Shapiro is talking about Daniel Shaver. Well, I didn't even know he was going to talk about it, but because it's always on the top of my fucking mind as a particularly brutal instance of police brutality and police violence, I can maybe explain it a little bit further, even though I just predicted that he was going to fucking say it, I guess, and openly mentioned it. The reason why that piece of shit cop got away with executing Daniel Shaver in broad daylight, brutally, after making him comply to his list of demands and then still murdering him regardless. The reason why he was able to get away with it, and the reason why Mesa Police Department actually still pays him PTSD damages. That's right. He's still on the government dime. He's getting paid for the PTSD that the cop who killed Daniel Shaver, the guy who killed Daniel Shaver, still gets paid. Is that number accurate? I thought it was like around $3,000 a month by the Mesa Police Department because he filed for damages saying he experiences PTSD from murdering a pleading man, which he was, of course, not found guilty of. Remember that. Of course, Black Lives Matter protested that unjustifiable execution. They were there. Ben wasn't there, but they were. Black Lives Matter were there because they understand that a police department that will engage in this extrajudicial killing of a white person will certainly never think twice about killing a black person. Duh. That's kind of the whole point here. But to help you understand it, the reason why he was able to get away with it is because police are seen as brutal enforcers. Oftentimes, the justification for that brutal enforcement is because they're brutally enforcing bad people. Substitute bad with black, and you'll understand exactly what justification cops have to behave the way that they do, which then ends up oftentimes killing white people as well. That's it. That's how cops also, that's how white people are sometimes victims of white supremacy in the hands of the police.
Significantly worse than what we saw with Tyre Nichols. I mean, Tyre Nichols is really, really, really bad. Daniel Shaver is literally on the ground trying to comply with officers' orders, and they just murder him. So this notion that white people have never been the victims of police violence is absolute bullcrap. It is not true in the slightest.
No one has ever said that. That, my friends, is a straw man. That is known as a straw man. That's what Ben Shapiro is saying. No one has said this, so I'm just going to make up a guy. The lady that is criticizing did not say this. No one is saying this. Just Ben saying it. This is the same exact thing that Republicans do all the fucking time. They can't find someone who's going to cheat and become fake trans to win a competition. So what do? They become that person. They literally do this. They're like, well, what if someone cheated to... What if someone was fake trans specifically so they could win an athletic competition? I'm like, okay, there's no example of this. So then they do it. And it's like, bro, what the fuck? But you're faking it. Why the fuck did you decide to do it on your own?
Whoopi Goldberg, because, again, everything for Whoopi, just a reminder, Whoopi Goldberg believes that everything in life is racist except Hitler. That is an actual thing that Whoopi Goldberg has said because she believes that...
That seems like a little bit of an uncharitable assessment of what Whoopi Goldberg has ever said.
When Hitler went after the Jews are white, so it was white on white crime, so it wasn't racism. And here's genius Whoopi Goldberg.
Even though Whoopi Goldberg is she's not exactly the best person for this kind of analysis, I'll be honest with you.
When will the brutality finally lead to some police reform from the ground up? Because clearly, it doesn't matter if it's a white policeman or a black policeman, it is a problem in the police, in the policing itself. Do we need to see white people also get beaten before anybody will do anything?
Again, white people get beaten pretty regularly by the cops. I mean, the rate of white people being shot by the officers unarmed, the number of white people shot by officers unarmed is significantly higher than the number of black people shot by officers unarmed.
I wonder why. Wait, hold on. I wonder why. Wait a minute. Wait, you think it's... First of all, what is this argument? Let's analyze this for a second. So is that okay? Does that make the point valid all of a sudden? Like, oh yeah, it's okay when white people get shot by cops. But secondly, there's this weird thing called, I guess, statistics or the likelihood of this thing happening to the black demographic versus the white demographic. There are more white people in the country than there are black people, Ben. So I wonder what the rate is in comparison to the totality. Let me run that back. It almost feels like he slips up accidentally.
White people get beaten pretty regularly by the cops. I mean, the rate of white...
Oh, wait, the rate... Wait. Hold on.
Pretty regularly by the cops. I mean, the rate of white people being shot by the officers unarmed, the number of white people shot by officers unarmed is significantly higher than the number of black people.
Oh, dude, damn, bro, damn. So Ben does know the fucking real numbers. He just corrected himself and said, oh, the number. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's so weird, dude. You almost fucking accidentally revealed a truthful statistic for once in your goddamn fucking life on your stupid ass broadcast, you fucking piece of shit. Holy shit. I'm telling you, dude, this is like whenever he like accidentally correctly genders a trans person and then catches himself in the act and then stops to directly misgender them. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm bored of this. I'm gonna skip it. I don't want to watch the rest of it.